Hi everybody. I had someone ask me on Facebook about my frame and how far it went down on the sides. So I figured since I needed to take this project off, I could show you. I did want to give you a couple of tips. One is I'm always grabbing my scissors, but they're always falling. So with this, these two little magnets, I can actually just drag this around to where I need it, and I see it, I feel like it stays good on the corners, and so then I can just get my scissors and just put them right back. And all that is little magnets, and I'll pull them off. Just two little strong magnets, and they drag around there really good. A lot of people put these magnets under felt and then lay it on their project, but this has worked good for me. And I got them from Michael's, and they're called Pro Mag, and 8 to a pack. I can't remember how much they were, but they're very inexpensive. They're like supposed to be a glue-on magnet. But anyway, that's what I use from that, and it works really, really good. So the top of this, when I made it, and I'll put the YouTube link for this pipe cover, black insulation pipe, plumbing pipe cover, where I saw it on YouTube. But you make it out of this black, I guess it's pipe. I can't remember exactly what the name of it is. But I think it's an inch round inside here. And I can't remember how thick this is. And it comes already split. And you can just put your finger here and just run your finger down it, and it just opens right up. So that's how it comes, what you use. And it's 6 feet, I think. And I made this one out of one piece of this. And then after the way she shows it on YouTube, she puts it, miters her corners, and puts it on, like she'd have one piece here with it cut at the corner right here. And she puts it on, and it's on the frame when she tapes it. And I also taped it while it was on my frame. But I had glued mine together with a low temp hot glue gun first, because I made all of my corners separate and then cut just straight pieces and just hot glued them temporarily so that I could sort of stick it on my frame to make sure it was going to come on and off easily before I put it on my frame and then put my duct tape on. And I had some of this, and I think the decorative kind is called DUCK duct tape instead of DUCT duct tape. But what I found was when I was punching, and if I was hot, which I have hot flashes a lot, so I was hot, I would stick to it, and I didn't like that. So what I did was just took some material that I had and just cut it, serged around it, because it's like a non-fray. Bought these little Velcro dots that just stick on, and I just, if you can see, I could just stuck it on the corners. And I don't take it off. I just leave it on here. And then and I leave my magnet on too. And I just hold the bottom of my Peekaboo frame and just pull one corner. And then the other corner. And also what I've done is I put a button right here on this left so that I know which way to put my cover on if I do take it off, as far as because it just fits better on the frame that way. I'm talking about this, cover on this. Because this would go anyway. You don't have to worry about it. Anyway, just and usually once you pick up the two, then it pulls right off like this. So she wanted to know how far down I came on the side, so I'll put it back on. Let me take my project off. This was a kit that I got off Amazon or eBay. And I thought it was pretty, and so and actually it's one of those that the side you're punching is actually the right side, so I thought that was different. Let me take this off, okay, get that out of the way. Sorry. And so now you can see the frame, and like I said, this is that Peekaboo frame, because when your project's on, you can pick it up and turn it under and look underneath to see what you're punching. And I really liked it. I went back and forth about the turn one or the twirly one or this one. I just knew I would have to peek, and so I got the Peekaboo Frame. And this one turns really easily around, and I just sit in my recliner and hold it up on the left arm of the recliner. It's the perfect height for punching, and I just absolutely love it. And I was hurting my fingers. I was getting nicks on my thumbs all the time, and ever since I've been using this cover, I haven't hurt my fingers or my hands, not one time. So anyway, this is the underside, and after I got it, when I had it on and got my duct tape on, I took it off and put another piece, and then just put it over like this. And in all reality, you probably wouldn't have to use the duct tape, but the duct tape is actually what holds it together. Like I said, I hot glued mine, and I don't know if you can see well enough, but there's like a mitered corner there, and then there's a cut here and a cut here. So my corners were all separate, and then I cut a long piece and then just sort of hot glued that together. But I wanted it to come down exactly right here on the frame, and you could see when I had my project on there that it came down right. And of course, these grippers are, you know, turned a little bit, like around the wood, which apparently is best for holding it on. So, and I didn't want any chance of, you know, hurting my fingers there. So if you sort of look at this, and actually what I did was when these ends, you have to cut some of it off. So I believe I cut probably about 1 inch off just to begin with, before I even started like putting the pieces together. And once you watch that girl's video, it'll give you a better idea of how to do that. But so that when I cut that 1/2 inch and it went down on the frame, it was perfect as far as like where it sits right here. And then the only thing I had to do was cut it off up underneath. And so what I did was, let me put my frame, and then you pop it on, like I'll usually get it on one. It just sort of goes on pretty good up there at the top, and then, I don't know, I'm hoping you're seeing this, and then I just take my finger up underneath this corner, and there's no grippers on the corner, so I don't have to worry about my fingers getting hurt. And then I just sort of hold my fingers here on the edge of this frame, and then I just sort of pull it on, and it just sort of pops on. And you'll hear that crunching, and that's this, because it's made out of, I don't know, foam or something, and so you'll hear that crunching when it goes on. But you know, it's not going to hurt your frame. It's not going to hurt your underneath either. So, and I think I might have put this on. Let's see. I might have put that on backwards. And the reason I'm saying that is because if you look, you see how far apart that comes from there. And so I remember I had told you that's why I put the button on. Let me see if I can get it off. And honestly, it's not this hard to get off. It's, I think it's because I put it in the wrong way. And I found that it's just easier if I put it on every time the same way that I made it, like when I made the cover. Let's see if this is better. And I swear, when I am doing this, I usually never ever have this much trouble putting this on. Of course, until I get on camera, and then I'll have trouble. Okay, so now you can see it's on the right way, and it completely comes to that edge right there. And then down here, well, actually, it actually looks like it's not going all the way down right there either. But anyway, so anyway, if I hold it up, turn it over. What I did was when I had the foam on, and of course this frame has these corners, so my corners were really jutting up against that, and I just took my scissors and just cut like straight down into the corner so that I get my scissors in, and then cut just with my scissors along the edge, because I knew if I cut, you know, along the edge there, it would completely cover up the grippers up underneath there. So like when I'm punching, I mean, I have reached up underneath here, you know, and grabbed this and held it up. you know, or put my fingers right here on the bottom. And I never have once, you know, cut my fingers ever since I've used this. And I absolutely love it. And you could actually not even miter your corners. And the reason I say that is because right now I'm making me another frame out of PVC pipe. And it's going to be a floor frame so that I can hook 2 foot by 3 foot rugs. And I only have to move my rug once. And I'm waiting on my gripper strips to come to attach it to the PVC pipe. And what I'm going to do on that one is just cut sections of this. And I've already done it. This is actually one of the sections. And just cover those gripper strips up, and I'm not even going to put the duct tape on it or anything. I'm just going to leave them like this and just pop them on once I get my material on, my rug on, so that I don't hurt my arms or my wrist. And I just decided that would be too big of a frame to miter the corners, and I'll just take the time to pop each one of these off of each side for that big floor frame. And you could do that with this little one, but it'd probably just be a little bit more trouble because you'd have to pop each section on. So it's worth it to take the time to like miter your corners, and it's really not that hard. It's not that difficult. So anyway, I hope that helps you and I hope that I've showed you well enough. I'm got my iPad up on my stand so that I can show you this. You know, how far it comes to the inside, and then how far it wraps around on the outside of the frame, and you can see that it wraps around pretty good. And I would say after I cut off that inch first, I cut off very little once I, you know, cut it again when it was on here and when I held it up. So, and I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to fit on there and cover up those mean little grippers so that they don't hurt your fingers. So anyway, I hope that helped you learn, you know, as far as like how that gripper strip, how much it goes around. And I'm hoping that you could see it well enough, because I had to put this iPad on the stand. I hope you heard it well enough, and I hope that gives you a little bit of help, and that you can make your own little gripper cover out of that material so that you don't hurt yourself. Thanks, y'all. Bye-bye.